Welcome back, True Seeker. It is October 17th, 2024. It's the full moon date for the month of October. It's also the first day of Sukkot, also known as the Feast of Tabernacles, Jewish celebration. And the big story on this day is Yahya Sinwar, the leader of Hamas, believed to have been killed by the IDF. And again, we've been talking about the rituals with Sinwar since the war began on October 7th, 2023, the anniversary of the U.S. invading Afghanistan after 9/11, where it was the leader of Israel, Ehud Barak, at the time, who told us to invade Afghanistan and go into Iraq and declare a war on terror, exactly what transpired. And again, you learn the Kabbalistic code of encoding numbers into words, and you see through every single one of these rituals. This entire war is one big ritual made for television. It's literally the theater of war. Look at the subheadline. Yahya Sinwar was the most significant Hamas figure still at large, and Israel considers him the mastermind of the deadly October 7th attacks. Well, if that is true, then he works hand in hand with Benjamin Netanyahu, who the attack was perfectly coordinated with, along with the story of Mia Shem, the first hostage. Remember, the verse about the people of Shem in the Bible is the verse number that's also Netanyahu's birthday. All things we've been covering over the last year plus now. But look at the Gematria Feast of Tabernacles. Do you see it? Do you see the 107, like how the war began on 10/7? And again, October 7th isn't an arbitrary date. It has a lot to do with the military. But of course, in Gematria, military equates to 107, and where Feast of Tabernacles is 107, so is ritual sacrifice. And again, if you're new here, the four base ciphers of the English language: the alphabetic order with numerology, the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. Do you see how ritual sacrifice also equates to 251? That is the 54th prime number. Okay, the 54th prime number right now is the 54th week of the war. And Yahya Sinwar, you see his name gematria? Here, let's compare it with a Jesuit order, the thing that runs this world and Israel and the United States and the media, the thing that serves the Catholic Church. Again, the Jesuit logo has the Templar cross right in the middle. Of course, October 7th leaves 85 days left in the year, like Templar equates to 85, as does the Jesuit motto, Isus Hominum Salvator. But notice, Yahya Sinwar, 144, 54, 153, just like Jesuit order. And again, the miraculous catch of 153 fish, the 144,000 chosen. These are biblical numbers. The Jesuits are the Society of Jesus, who serve the Catholic Church and the Pope. But yes, in the 54th week of the war, Yahya Sinwar is dead. And so they say. And again, just look at the name Sinwar alone in regards to the word Jesuit. Sinwar and Jesuit. And remember, Netanyahu declared war on October 8th, a Sunday. Here, let's actually throw Sunday up there for comparison purposes too. But Netanyahu declared war on Hamas, led by Sinwar, on October 8th, the day leaving 84 days left in the year, a Sunday. And again, just compare Sunday, Jesuit, Sinwar with the alphabetic order. They're all 84. Sunday and Jesuit, the exact same with the alphabetic order and numerology. Jesuits have run the 21st century that started off with a bang with the Twin Towers. Sunday, Jesuit, and Sinwar, all 78 in the reverse alphabetic order. October is also 78, like the war began in October, and here we are again. And Jesuit and Sinwar also got the 42 connection. And remember, Hamas has the 42 connection. And Iran, who supposedly backs Hamas, has the 42 connection. But again, if you know who runs Iran, then you realize the CIA runs Hamas, because the CIA overthrew Iran on August 15th in the start of the 1950s, which was the Jesuit order's birthday. Iran was overthrown by the CIA on August 15th in 1953. And by the way, that was 71 years before this year. And remember, Catholic equals 71. And the war began on Putin's 71st birthday, 71 days before the Pope's birthday. So with the Feast of Tabernacles, again, equating to 107, like ritual sacrifice, like military, like the war beginning on 10-7. Notice it also equals 64, like Israel, like Zion, like kill. And the other gematria here, Feast of Tabernacles, 172, in the exact same cipher, the Jesuit motto, Ad Merum Dei Gloriam, for the greater glory of God. 172. And notice Sukkot has that 97 and 38, just like death has that 97 and 38. Sukkot also has that 65, like Knights Templar. And again, the word Templar alone is 85, like how the war began on the day, leaving 85 days left in the year. The Jesuits are the modern-day Templars. I missed an A there. The Jesuit motto is Sus Hominum Salvator, 85. The war begins on the day, leaving 85 days left in the year. Remember, the motto also equates to 266. We're in the time of the 266th Pope. And let me pull up Yahya Sinwar's full name again, too. Yahya Ibrahim Hassan Sinwar. Notice his name also equates to 266. Pope Francis, the first Jesuit Pope, the 266th. His name just happens to equal 266 and have all these Jesuit connections. And again, the 274 definitely matters in their motto. If you don't know the Jesuit logo, it's the sun with the letters IHS for Sus Hominum Salvator. And the Catholic Church has been celebrating the sun's birthday on 12/25 since 274 AD. And for the record, they started celebrating Jesus' birthday on that day 46 years later. Catholics 46, like the 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. Of course, Catholics also 35, like 12/25. The square root of 1225 is 35. The Roman name of Jesus is Jesus. December 25th is also known as Sol Invictus, which is 46, but also 71 like Catholic. On and on and on. So, again, just all this perfect ritualism. Sukkot has the connection to the Templars, but also to 97 and 38 like death. Roman Catholicism is another 97 for the record. They said Sinwar was put in an Israeli prison in 89. That's also part of the story today if you look into it. But we've seen a lot of that 89 coming up in 2024. 89 is the 24th prime number. It's been nonstop rituals paying tribute back to 1989 all throughout 2024. So I hadn't heard that detail about him until listening to the news this morning, that he was in an Israeli prison in 89. And keep in mind, that was 35 years ago, wasn't it? Catholic 35. Today's 305 days after the Pope's last birthday. Key digits 3 and 5. It's like when JFK was elected number 35 before he was killed on I-35 at age 46. You know, years before Joe Biden's elected number 46, exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, and inaugurated 35 days after the Pope's birthday. But if you go back, the election that Kennedy won over Nixon, he won it 305 days after Nixon's birthday. Now Sinwar's dead in a big Catholic ritual 305 days after the Pope's birthday. And keep in mind, it's Thursday, right? It's Thursday. It's 35 Thursday, where every week on Thursday, it's a big 35 ritual. So Thursday's also got the 35 and 46. Jupiter is what Thursday's named after, and Jupiter is Zeus. Zeus has the 71 connection, like Catholic. Jesus. A lot of people don't see the obvious wordplay. The Son of God, the language in the calendar given to us by the Catholic Church. The Son of God, they celebrate the Son's birthday on the same day they celebrate the Son of God's birthday, and they give him the name Jesus. When the New Testament's written in Greek, and they worship Zeus, who's Jupiter. All right. If you missed last night's video on the Liam Payne thing, which is another high ritual, signed to Columbia Records, dead at 31 on the day, leaving 76 days left in the year. Just like Jimmy Carter, elected in 76, is voting for Kamala on that day, being wheeled in looking like a vegetable. But again, all day, every day, news by the numbers. The Brett Baer thing, he has the same birthday as Obama. I mean, again, a Republican-founded network. If you haven't seen the Kamala Brett Baer thing, it's just stupid. It's like, what kind of interview is this? Brett Baer's asking a question, she's starting to answer, just talking over her. It's like, okay, this reminder, it's all BS. But hold on. What else did I have on Sinwar? I think there's a few more things I forgot. Oh, yeah. I almost forgot the most important thing about Sinwar. Here's where I meant to start. Remember this headline from the New York Times? Almost none of us were alive. This is from October 6th, 1940. New York Times. New World Order. Pledge to Jews. What happens if you go to Wikipedia, by the way? Wikipedia, New World Order. I'm sure just for saying the phrase, I'll get a warning about it being a conspiracy theory on my YouTube video. Oh, yeah, the New World Order conspiracy theory. That's what happens when you type it in. The conspiracy theory, even though like presidents and politicians and leaders all across the world have uttered this phrase forever. Here it is from October 6, 1940. New World Order, pledge to Jews. And I've always talked about this since forever, since I got here. And I made the point many years in advance that there'd be a major war that would start in Israel while the country was 75 years old. And did that happen? Yes. October 7th, which was one day after the anniversary of this article, October 7th, 2023 was while Israel was 75 years old. It was created in 1948. Same year the Superior General and leader of the Jesuits was born. But remember all of the significance of 75. This article, 10/6/1940, that date had a numerology path of 75. 10 plus 6 plus 19 plus 40 is 75. Makes perfect sense why they would do it on that day in light of every day being news by the numbers, and it's been going on for longer than any of us have been around. New World Order equals 75. Who pledged it? How about the Catholic Church? 75. Notice the phrase order out of chaos is 75. Notice the word order alone is 75. Roman Catholicism, or hold on, it's Roman Catholic, that's what it is. Roman Catholic is also 75. Roman Catholic, just like Catholic Church. So what day has Sinwar been killed on? Reportedly today, the first day of Sukkot, the day leaving 75 days left in the year. Doesn't it all just seem like such perfect ritual? Doesn't it really seem just like the theater of war? Like it was all scripted and planned? You know, this might have been the deal they cut with him back when he was in an Israeli prison 35 years ago, before he's dead on 35 Thursday, you know? And by the way, 89, the big religion number. Religion's 89. 89 chapters in the gospel. And for the person who asked me to look into the history of the Jehovah's Witness, I'll cover that too, because it's funny how both of the first two leaders have the big 89 connection, and we'll cover that in a minute because it really does fit in. It's all part of one big, long, connected chain of dividing the world through religion. And, you know, just with regards to religion, don't overlook the 46 there either, right? Just like Catholic, just like Sol Invictus, just like Temple Mount, very divisive spot in the world. You see how Temple Mount has the 154, like ritual sacrifice? I should cover some more of these ritual sacrifices. Again, we talked about how Feast of Tabernacles equals 107, like ritual sacrifice, like the war began on 10/7, like how he's now dead on this date. We talked about how 251 is the 54th prime number. His name equals 54. He's dead in the 54th week of the war. Ritual sacrifice 73. Remind me, what day did the founder of Zionism die in history? Theodore Herzl. He died on July 3rd, 7/3. Again, 44 years before Israel was created in 1948. He died in 1904. Israel, Zion, Netanyahu, they're all 44, like military. It's a military state founded with military purposes by the Jesuit order, using religion as the disguise and the reason. Remember The reason Israel, modern day Israel, is where it is because of the Templars. The Templars used Temple Mount and Al-Aqsa Mosque as their headquarters, their base when they were down there. But the ritual sacrifice 154 thing, remember the relationship with 201 and 154. 201 is the 154th composite number, and it goes with Pope Francis being the first Jesuit pope, the first to live in Suite 201, and his birthday being Saturnalia. Saturnalia has the 154 connection. And remember, the Jesuit order, of course, equals 201. The Pope's birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, is 201. The founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius Loyola, is 201. Israel, its official name is State of Israel, 201, created in a Catholic ritual. Remember, David Ben-Gurion died 201 days after the anniversary of the establishment of Israel. Notice how David Ben-Gurion equals 145, just like Catholic equals 145. Israel was created on the 14th day of the 5th month, 14/5 and 48. There's 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament than Protestant Old Testament. There's 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament, whereas there's 39 in the Protestant. But again, all of this stuff has been perfect ritual from the beginning. And again, it's why Netanyahu left on June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the year, and then returned on 12/29 when 1229 is the 201st prime. And again, Jewish mysticism is also 201, and in Hebrew, the original code of letters into numbers, 201 represents light and enlightenment. And again, you think about how a Jesuit, Adam Weishaupt, founded the Order of Illuminati, the Illuminated Ones, 201, and died in history 201 days after the anniversary of the Illuminati's establishment, and on and on and on. Again, the 201 goes back to the beginning of the Jesuits, again, created 201 months after Martin Luther penned the 95 Theses. But yeah, I mean, it's just a joke. I mean, Sinwar, just the name alone, right there is a joke. Sinwar, and it's two words, right? It's sin 42, and it's war 42. And look at the overlap for the record with sin and war. Let's not forget that one either. Sin and war, the exact same in all four ciphers. And again, Hamas 42, Iran 42, World War 42. When Iran, run by the CIA, and let's not forget, you guys, let's not forget the CIA was established on the 201st day of the Pope's age, September 18th, 47, and the words in their logo, Central Intelligence Agency, United States of America, equal 201, as does their motto, the work of a nation, the center of intelligence. And here, if you need me to spell out the work of a nation, the center of intelligence, 201, okay? The thing with Donald Trump, the little thing where he got his ear nicked and then he wore the big bandage, which was total theater. That was on the 195th day of the year, after he buries his ex-wife on the 201st day of the year, after she dies exactly 60 weeks into the first Jesuit Ignatian year, the same day he says he's going to run for the 60th election. And then you got Kamala, who sucked her way to the top, who's going to turn 60 in a few days, who started dating Willie Brown when he was 60, back when she was in her 20s. Couldn't pass the bar until she took it at the Jesuit University. Again, I just bring up all these things because they're all current events and remind you who runs the whole show. All you guys out there who think Israel runs the world, you don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about. Israel was founded by the Jesuits, just like the CIA was. United States of America. Hold on. Central Intelligence Agency. If you don't know this, just look it up yourself. Those are the words in the CIA's logo. Top half is Central Intelligence Agency. Bottom half is United States of America. 201. Founded on the 201st day of the Pope's age. By the way, what's Catholic Pope equal? 201. He's the light of the world. And just for the record, notice again the Jesuit order 177-201. Remember, like Klaus Schwab, he's a very prominent Jesuit on the world stage, runs the World Economic Forum. He put on Event 201, the pandemic simulation, the same day the military world games began in Wuhan, China, and the military world games started in 95 and were credited to the Jesuits. They started in Italy, where the church is, just like how we gave we gave 95 billion to Israel and Ukraine on the 201st day of the war in Israel. And speaking of the CIA, Joe Biden signed off on the bill on the 201st day of the war, but it was Hitler's birthday, April 20th, that the House first passed the bill, and then the Senate signed off on it like the next day, if I remember right, or 2 days later, and then Biden signed off on the 201st day of the war. But you see how Central Intelligence Agency's 135, just like Bavaria, where the Illuminati was founded? It was Hitler's 135th birthday that they passed that bill for the 95 billion. And again, the Jesuits were created to counter the 95 Theses written by Martin Luther. They were created 201 months later. 201-95, numbers that come together all the time. Event 201 on the day the military world games begin in Wuhan, China, that started in 95. On and on and on and on and on. Martin Luther King Jr. smoked on the 95th day of the year, the nation's first gun control legislation 201 days later. All of these things that we're looking at every day, it's coming from the same people who gave us the calendar and the language, and that's the Jesuits. Catholic Church, biggest church in the world, richest church in the world, the most followed religious figure in the world, the Pope. That's why all you guys who have the small cap obsession and think it's the small caps that do everything, you don't know your history, you don't have very good logic, you don't know whose time we're on. Does that mean the small caps have nothing to do with what's going on? No. When the Jesuits were created, it was a merger of Catholics and Jews because Martin Luther targeted both Catholicism and Judaism and said they needed to be ridded from Europe to have a decent society. And notice how they brought it together again with World War II and the creation of Israel. Adolf Hitler, and by the way, if you guys don't know this, look up his birth certificate, and please don't be the next person who's a horrible shit researcher and says, I can't find that anywhere, because it's not even that hard to find. You can find Hitler's birth certificate. His birth name is Adolphus Hitler, which does equal 201, and he did model the Nazis after the Jesuits. And again, everyone says he escaped out to Argentina because his storybook says that he committed suicide, but his body was never found. And just for the record, his name that he's known by, Adolf Hitler, 56-187, just like Society of Jesus, 56-187. Don't overlook the 61 either, because church equals 61, like Christian, like Christmas, like how in sacred geometry, the flower of life, which represents God, is made out of 61 overlapping circles. Jesus, cross, Christian church, they're all 61. Hitler, the Christian who wanted to wipe out the Jews. Today is 61 days before the Pope's birthday. Again, the Pope at the time turned a blind eye to the Catholic Church. Last September 2023, the New York Times said they discovered something in the Vatican archives, that the Pope was very aware of the Nazis and just stayed mum on the subject. Remember, we covered that last September 2023, that, all this time they did know. They just found it in the archive. Yeah. But yeah, Adolf Hitler, again, 56-187, just like Society of Jesus. You know where they set up camp in this nation when they came here? This nation being where I'm broadcasting from, Washington, D.C., 56-187, 61. Look familiar? Look familiar? Think it's an accident? It's got the same numbers as Adolf Hitler? Think it's an accident? He supposedly died at 56 and no one found his body? Another guy who died at 56 who a war was blamed on was Abraham Lincoln, who blamed the American Civil War on the Jesuits. Think it's an accident that Confederate equals 201? The Jesuits published the text Art of War. There's no proof of Sun Tzu ever existed. Jesuits published Art of War 3 years before this nation was created. The nation always at war. And did you guys see the headline today? We bombed Iranian Houthis with B-50 or B-2 bombers. But yeah, the American Civil War began on the 102nd day of the year. Again, the Jesuits simulated 9/11 102 days before the attack with Operation Amalgam Virgo, June 1st, 2001. Federal exercise with Osama bin Laden's face right on the cover. 2 towers became 0 before they became 1. Sinwar. By the way, Donald Trump, again, for all you guys who, like I said, Joe Biden sacrificed Beau Biden at age 46, 201 days before the Pope's birthday. Trump's had a number of sacrifices. His brother on the Jesuit order's birthday, his sister who just died last year, his wife who died 60 weeks into the first Jesuit Ignatian year, the same day he said he'd run in the 60th election, then buried her on the 201st day of the year. Trump even put out a $60 Bible with his name on it for the 60th election. Unholy. Holy's also 48 like Donald Trump. It's crazy. But remember, Donald Trump's 60. Jesuit educated at Fordham. His little second scare on 15/9, 159 years after the Secret Service was created. Nothing but jokes. Nothing but jokes. And for the woman out there who lives in Israel, who she hasn't written any articles about me for years, but I forget which one it was, Haaretz or the Israeli Times or whatever. She has wrote like 4 articles attacking me in their little paper out there, saying that I was ruining the word gematria. How come no follow-up articles? How come no follow-up articles? How have I ruined the word gematria? What I have done is brought it to light for most people who have no clue about it. And for 2, I'm pretty sure the gematria code, and for every person out there who'd be like, it's pronounced gematria. I don't care how it's pronounced. I pronounce it gematria because I found the word and had never heard anybody say it in my life. And I thought, oh, it means geometry. Well, it must be gematria then, because gematria and geometry, you start with the G sound. So G, whatever. Point is, the word exists, the practice exists, and the code behind the English language, as far as I can tell, is more significant than any gematria/gematria code anywhere else out there, even the one that goes with Hebrew and Aramaic, the original, because the reason this one's more relevant is because it speaks to the times, who's running this world, the true sinners, the true evil ones, not the characters they put up on the world stage. And I mean, who's ever known anything about this guy other than what the media's put out there about him? You don't know really anything about this man, anything about his life. Is that even his real name, Sinwar? I mean, give me a break. This is a character invented for the world stage for a propped up headline like this. And just like how every religious group has dummies in it, I'm sure a lot will be like, oh, it's Sukkot. I'm having a great Sukkot today. What great news on Sukkot that we killed Sinwar. It's like, no, what you really need to know is, here's the guy you should be celebrating today if he was dead in the headlines, if it was his obituary. Benjamin Netanyahu. And the reason I say that is because your little thing that supposedly happened over there at the first ever world concert that was going on at what time? 7 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday? I mean, kids that age are usually passed out from the night prior, but supposedly there was a concert going on in the middle of nowhere on a heavily secured border that somehow just everybody just left their post and left it wide open for the CIA-backed Hamas attack. Anyway, that attack came 282 days after Netanyahu came back into power. And if you go to my channel, here, for all the doubters out there, here, let me pull up my other channel that still hangs on by a thread. Gematria Effect 22, Gematria Effect News 22. On this channel, let's see. Here we go. All right, Gematria Effect News 22 right here. I believe this is the video right here. What's to come in 2023? This is on the day Netanyahu returned to power on Albert Pike's birthday, the same Albert Pike who wrote the letter about 3 world wars, which were published on August 15th, 1871, the Jesuit order's birthday. Always big rituals on August 15th. Again, Trump's brother died on that day the other year. Afghanistan's government collapsed on that year, just year after year. Big rituals on August 15th. But in this video, I laid out why a major war would start in Israel while it was 75, and I explained why it would probably happen around the time Yale turned 322 years old 322. Again, the war started October 7th. Netanyahu declared war the next day, October 8th. Yale turned 322 years old the next day, October 9th, 2023. And again, I mean, go back and watch the video right here. Right here. Gematria Effect News 22. I'm going to see if this was the original. The following content may contain graphic or violent imagery. It contained nothing but facts. This was premiered December 29, 2022. Okay? It was all laid out there. And, you know, eventually this channel will be gone too, just like 20-some channels have been deleted to date. But yeah, again, we saw all this stuff coming a mile away. And I've been saying forever that when Israel turns 75, expect major fireworks in that nation. And now Sinwar, dead on the day, leaving 75 days left in the year. It's just a total joke. It's a total joke. I'm seeing what else is buzzing right now. If there's anything else I need to cover. All right, for the gentleman yesterday who asked me to cover the death of Charles Russell, who started the Bible student movement that eventually became, that's also the Christian Zionist movement. But he wanted me to look into his death. That movement became the Jehovah's Witness after his passing, which was led by Joseph Rutherford. And look at how redundant it is, right? This man died. I mean, consider he died at 64, right? He started the Christian Zionist movement. Zion, 64, right? Feast of Tabernacles. Here we are again. Feast of Tabernacles. The Zionist nation has killed Sinwar. But this man who led the Zionist movement, Christian Zionist movement, dead at 64. Again, it did become the Jehovah's Witness movement. But notice what day he died. He died on October 31st. That's the anniversary of Martin Luther penning the 95 Theses. And isn't it funny that we call the day Halloween and it just happens to equal 95? That's not an accident. Halloween equals 41 and 40, like Zionist, 4140 Halloween. And of course, 10 plus 31 for October 31st is 41. But the thing about his death, the man who replaced him was Joseph Rutherford. And notice he had a November 8th birthday. So that means that Mr. Russell died 8 days before his birthday. And that means that Joseph Rutherford was still 46. And then it went on to become the Watchtower movement or the Jehovah's Witness. If you ever had the Jehovah's Witness come to your door, they give you the Watchtower publication that they do. But notice he was 46 years old, right? Watchtower 46, Sacrifice 46, Genesis 46 about sacrifice. Hey, next time Jehovah's Witness come to your door, you got a little something to talk about. And I'll tell you what, Jehovah's Witness, usually when they come to the door, they're open to talk about things. I haven't had a single Mormon missionary come since I moved to this little town. Actually, I haven't had the Jehovah's Witness come to my door yet since I moved to this town either. But man, when I lived in the Seattle area, both of them were there all the time. I only had them come by a couple times in Yakima. Still hasn't happened yet in Prosser, but one of these days, they'll no doubt show up. So, and again, who's really standing behind these religions and these divisive things at the end of the day? I wouldn't be surprised if it was the Catholic Church behind all this too. Wouldn't be surprised one bit. The Martin Luther history anniversary. The big 46 Catholic connection, JFK, the first Catholic president, number 35, dead at 46. Joe Biden, like we told you a year in advance, would be elected number 46, 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday based on what he did to his son, Beau. His other son, Hunter, is born on the 35th day of the year. He's been a big distraction the whole time. But again, Biden also inaugurated 35 days after the Pope's age. And for the record, just all the 201 business, don't forget Inauguration Day. Well, don't forget the capital was moved to D.C., the Jesuit stronghold, and then the Inauguration Day was moved to 20/1, the 201st day of the nation's age. And if you look it up on the government website, the U.S. government website, January 20th is known as Inauguration of the President of the United States. That's how they phrase it, 201. Are you seeing the light yet? Remember, in Hebrew, that's where the 201 thing comes from. Neil Alden Armstrong, he supposedly walked on the illuminated object in the sky, illuminated by the sun, after the moon landing on July 20th, the 201st day of the year. Is it making sense yet? In the 16th century, the century of the Jesuits, the heliocentric model agreed to. Isn't it amazing how heliocentrism, not only is it 201 and 150, again, they say the sun's 150 million kilometers away on average, but Illuminati, again, 150. Order of Illuminati is also 93. Like they say, the sun's 93 million miles away. Never forget Alec Baldwin, born on the 93rd day of the year, the day Brandon Lee was buried as well after the Crow incident, which was reminiscent of what happened to Bruce Lee while filming Game of Death. Bruce Lee died on the 201st day of the year, for the record. Both him and Brandon Lee are buried up right next to Seattle University, the Jesuit school. Probably not an accident. But remember, the Oddfellow Society was 201 years old when the CHOP was going on in Seattle after the major 201 ritual of George Floyd. I mean, you can just go on all day with all the 201s. But all the weirdos in the autonomous zone in Seattle climbing all over the 201-year-old organizations building the Odd Fellows. A lot of prominent members of U.S. government have been a part of that society as well, the old Odd Fellows. And it is Odd Fellows who rule over us. I mean, weirdos who do this Kabbalistic shit every day to maintain power and control. Truth is stranger than fiction. By the way, you know, that kid who's dead, Liam Payne, we covered that, how he's dead 258 days after Harry Styles' birthday. And by the way, in light of the little 666 thing they did with Liam Payne, here, let me just show you this while it's buzzing too. Liam Payne. Oh, by the way, speak of the devil, Charles Russell died 258 days after his birthday. He also died 258 days after his birthday. Number of the beast, order of Illuminati, both 258. He was born on the 47th day of the year, got replaced right before his associate turned 47 years old, when Christian government and authority all equal 47 like time. Again, what is 47? Again, you got to learn all these things. You got to learn all these things to see how repetitive they are in ritual, to see that your religion's false, that it all leads back to Rome. I know that gets a lot of people sore in their anus, but a lot of you guys, you see through everything but your fake religion, which all came from the same source, which all has the same numerical encoding over it. I don't know how you can dismiss all these other things that came from the authorities, but hang on to your little religion, or actually I do. It's because it's the scariest one of all, and it was the most indoctrinated in you as a child, and you were told that if you don't believe in it, you're going to get the eternal punishment. And then ask yourself, what kind of religion would that be? What kind of God would that be? Where you have to believe that men who wrote a book a long time ago, if you don't believe in that book, God's going to punish you. You can't see that these men want to play God over your life every day by this little code. You can't see they encoded the Bible up and down. God 26, Adam 26, man made in the 26th verse in the image of God. Sinwars killed 26 days before the superior general's birthday as they play God and mock you. Sin. Why does the New Testament begin with the 42 generations to Jesus who died for your sins? You know, New Testament 42, sin 42, math 42. What's the first book of the New Testament? Matthew. You know, that beast, that evil beast rules for 42 months. And you see how math's also 66 like New Testament? Protestant Bibles end in the 66th book. Number of the beast, 66. You got to calculate it. You got to use math. Number of the beast, 258. Order of Illuminati, 258. I was going to show you how this Payne kid, Liam Payne, how he fit in, again, with this little 258 thing they did to him as they threw him from the balcony. Liam James Payne. You see the numbers? 154, 144, 54. That might remind you of Sinwar. But Mark of the Beast. Look at the perfect overlap, you guys. Perfect overlap. Exact same in all four ciphers. And then Harry Styles, the most famous member of the band, dead 258 days after his birthday. And here, just for the record, just for one more review, I put out the short video on Jimmy Carter's Weekend at Bernie's ritual yesterday. Somebody asked me to look into the Sidney Wilson thing, did a little post on that. The Georgetown player killed by police at 33. Liam Payne, just real quick, again, dead at 31. Remember, he was on Columbia Records. That was the one thing I missed from the video. We talked about him being dead at 31 and on Columbia, but he did die on the day, leaving 76 days left in the year. And just true to form, you know, people in the comments, I was just deleting the comments left and right. He's not on Columbia, he's on Capitol. You can look at his discography. He's definitely on Columbia as well. A lot of these record companies are merged anyhow. But yeah, he's definitely on Columbia Records. I just get tired of people just leaving their dumb comments. He's not on Columbia. Yep, he is. He definitely is. Doesn't take that. It's not that hard to look up in the information age. Anyhow, again, dead on a Wednesday. Wednesday equals 44, like Kill, like Argentina, where he died. One Direction equals 193, the 44th prime. Dead 62 days before the Pope's birthday in the Pope's country. Sacrifice 62. Dead 27 days before the Superior General's birthday. Ritual and Balcony 27. His name equals, or his band's name equals 67, like Blood Sacrifice, like Human Sacrifice. Their first album came out on the anniversary of Adam Weishaupt dying, the founder of the Order of Illuminati, which has the 258 as well as the 201 connection. And again, he died 48 days after his own birthday. First album, Up All Night 48. His name, the exact same as Freemason in every cipher. Liam Payne in Freemason 48. They started out on the X Factor 48. Remember, Israel founded in 48. Talk about the X Factor. X is the 24th letter. Things really popping off in 2024, including this guy off the balcony. Columbia matches his age of death and the day he died on. His last album, Teardrops, came out on 48 date numerology, March 1st, 3-1, now dead at 31. And you know what? There might be something to that song being 174 seconds long. I'm sure there is. Number of the Beast, 174 forwards, 258 in reverse. Remember when they unveiled the Beast statue at the United Nations on the 174th day of the Ignatian year? If not, you can go back and look. They unveiled a statue that was reminiscent of what's described in the Bible for the Beast. Again, 174th day of the Jesuit Ignatian year was the day it happened. Harry Styles, from his birthday to the death, 258 days. Order of Illuminati, Number of the Beast. Illuminati 48, 48 days before the anniversary of the album. Again, which did come out on the founder of the Illuminati, Adam Weishaupt, dying. Actually, I know I'm going to look at the comments and be like, Adam Weishaupt didn't die on that day. Yeah, he did. He definitely did. He definitely did. And here, again, the Illuminati founded May 1st. The Illuminati wasn't founded on May 1st. It's just like the new troll tactic. Just write just the opposite of the truth. Help the dummies in the comments like, oh, this video must be false. Look, somebody left a comment said that didn't happen. Let's see. That's all it takes to persuade the dummies. Look at that. May 1st to November 18th, 1830. 201 days. Order of Illuminati, 201. Yeah, let's do it for David Ben-Gurion, too. David Ben-Gurion dead December 1st, 121. Same day Aleister Crowley died in history. And, of course, Aleister Crowley died right around the same time they were drawing up Israel's nation. Aleister Crowley invented that religion Thelema that worships 93. Israel was drawn up on September 3rd, 93. State of Israel 201. Isn't it amazing how that all fits together? But again, May 14th, 48, Israel's birthday. So you measure. By the way, Ben-Gurion died in 73, right? Aren't we talking about this with ritual sacrifice? 73. The founder of Zionism died on July 3rd, Theodore Herzl. Blood sacrifice has the 121, like he died on 12/1, December 1st. You could also write the date 1/12. December 1st could be 1/12. Judaism, 112. Zionist, 112. Catholicism, 112. Mathematics, 112. The Jesuits operate in 112 countries. The Jesuits don't operate in 112 countries. Can you guys just stop leaving these stupid comments and testing to see how dumb the audience is that comes through? Anyone can look it up and be like, oh, that person was lying in the comments. Oh, whoops, I typed in the wrong date there. May 14th. There, May 14th, the anniversary of Israel being established, and David Ben-Gurion's death 201 days later. State of Israel. The Jesuit order. The Holy Bible. The 201. Catholic. 145. 145 more chapters. Again, the biggest troll on the internet, I would say, well, it's a tough competition, but one of the biggest trolls on the internet is Adam Green. Adam Green, who went to Israel and spends all of his days hating on Israel, even though he went there. And remember, when he came back from Israel, he asked to do an interview with me, and then he tried to denounce my work, and then he took down the interview the next day. And he debates everyone all day and tries to blame everything on Jews and Israel. But he did recently turn down a debate with me. He said he would not debate me. And you guys just got to ask yourself, why does a guy who spends all of his time online blaming Jews and debating everybody, why am I the only interview he ever removed from his website? And why will he not debate me? Do you think it's because he knows my work proves his work wrong? For all of you guys who are in the Adam Green camp and think just like him, and it's your hatred that motivates your thinking, that's why you don't care about the facts. And then you leave, oh, see, Zach, you're always covering up for them. I'm not covering up for them. I don't think too many people in the small cap camp would say that I'm that I'm an ally of theirs. Again, I'm more like Martin Luther. I'm not a big fan of either, but I'll still tell you who the real people to blame are, and not blame it on a false group that are also being used and abused. But again, I'm also the one that'll tell you that, like when I go and bust up the March for Our Lives gathering of the morons in Seattle, as we really did clear them out of there. You guys, that's where this photo's from right here. This is from the last March for Our Lives they had up in the Seattle area. I had to go there and interrupt their little propaganda thing that just made no sense and was all about undermining the Second Amendment. But what was there that you could have seen that day if you watched the stream is every agent provocateur that was there trying to disrupt and stop what I was doing was a JEW. And you pay attention in these false flag shootings that are always encoded with the 201s, it's often a JEW going on the news trying to undermine the Second Amendment. And it's just like the what's Noah Posner's mother name? Again, Lenny Posner's waging the war against the First Amendment. And what's the mother's name? She has a different name. I always forget her name. Noah Posner's mother. What's her name? Her name is 201 if I can find it. And just like how Sandy Hook happened 201 months after the Dublin massacre. 201 months in one day. And it was paired up with the shooting in Colorado on the 201st day of the year at the Batman Theater, when that year Batman put out a map for Gotham City, and they changed one neighborhood name for the first time in the history of Batman, and they changed it from South Hinckley to Sandy Hook. And remember, Batman is connected to Skull and Bones, and Skull and Bones has the 201 connection as well, and Paul Walker, who did the movie The Skulls about Skull and Bones, who gets a red Porsche in the movie, dies in a weird way in a red Porsche, and that movie came out 201 days after his birthday. I don't know why this is not popping up. Where's her name at? Are they hiding her name because people are figuring out about the 201s? Hold on. Since I brought it up, I'm not going to feel satisfied until I find it. I cannot think of that woman's name right now. Oh yeah, Aaron Rodgers is another 201. They had to bring him into it this week in the 201 area code. He threw the yeah, there it is, from Dune Blaine to. Oh yeah, that's right. They went after him on March 12th too. Just what a joke, man. The day before the Dune Blaine massacre, they went after Aaron Charles Rodgers for Sandy Hook conspiracy theories. You see what a joke it is? They got Aaron Rodgers faking injuries on 9/11, playing in the 201 area code in Jersey. 2 towers became 0 before they became 1. New York Jets only Super Bowl winning season, 1968, the year World Trade Center construction began, and 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. But then the day before Dune Blaine on 3/12, they call him a Sandy Hook conspiracy theorist. Just news by the numbers all day, every day. When he became the coronavirus conspiracy theorist, that was on the day leaving 56 days left in the year. If you remember, Aaron Rodgers became public enemy number 1 for that. It was another 56 ritual. But, I don't know why I cannot. Does somebody in the chat have Noah Posner's mother's name? Veronique de la Rosa. Okay, there we go. That sounds right. Yeah, I remember she had some like Hispanic sounding name. There we go. Yeah. Isn't it crazy how searching on Google they are like hiding her name? There she is, Veronique de la Rosa. Oh, that's right. They supposedly buried the child during Saturnalia. I mean, look at it, you guys. You don't think that this is who was behind the SH shooting? I mean, you don't think it was the same gang? All these 201s? You don't think these people are behind it? All the shit in your news every single day? All the ritual sacrifice? How did they do it? Because they invented the world as we know it. Religion, money, government, because they built this world? How hard is it to buy off people? How hard is it to hire assassins? Jesuits, I might be for hire myself. I'm ready. Never mind, I'm gonna stop. I used to always tell everybody when I was a kid, because I was already fed up with the world when I was a kid. When adults would ask me what I wanted to be someday, I'd always say the same thing, and I would just shock them. I love shocking the adults' faces. I say, so what do you want to do someday when you grow up, Zach? I say, oh, I'll be an assassin. Serious as cancer. And sometimes I regret I didn't take that career path, because there's a lot of people that need to go. You know? Not little kids at grocery stores, or people at movie theaters, or all the places that the manufactured mass shooters go. I'm talking about the people who run this nation. I get so tired of all the news stories of, oh yeah, this online conspiracy theorist who hated the government and promoted conspiracy theories about 9/11. It was the guy who went up and shot up the grocery store or the school. Oh, weird. So he had all these problems with the government, but he decided to shoot first graders. Oh, that makes sense. Actually, that sounds more like the same corrupt government putting out propaganda to try and motivate people to go along with their bullshit agendas, which always have the 201 on it. Like how the nation's first major gun control legislation came 201 days after the MLK ritual. And since we hopped into that, let's go back and review that too. MLK assassination, 4/4, right? Like shooting, like execution, like kills, 4/4. It was a leap year. It was the 95th day of the year. Martin Luther, who he was named after, penned the 95 Theses. Gun Control Act of 1968. What day did that happen? We're coming up on the anniversary here, October 22nd. So let's measure from April 4th. 1968 to October 22nd, 1968. And if you guys don't know what came out of this, is what got serial numbers on guns. 201 days later. And why did they put serial numbers on guns? So the government could track every last person who legally owns one. Because the government's been building this surveillance state, where eventually they'll move in on everybody who's legally owned a gun, because it's all in a database. Funny how 201's all over all the big tech companies too, isn't it? Isn't it all just make more sense as time moves on? People weren't thinking about computers and big tech in 68. Not the average person. And remember, 10 days before RFK got shot, he was saying that the nation needed gun control. And how many days was it from June 6th, the day he died, until the gun control? It was 138 days, which is federal. He technically got shot June 5th. He got shot June 5th. Remember, he died at 1:44 in the morning, like Jesuit orders 1:44, like how his brother died 144 days from meeting with the Pope. I'm talking about JFK after his child died on the day, leaving 144 days up here. But 139, that's the big gun control number over and over. Gun control, 139. The 94 assault weapons ban on the 13th day of the 9th month. It's all been perfect ritual. Robert Kennedy dead on 6/6, or was he really? Robert Kennedy shot on June 5th, the 156th day of the year. Robert Kennedy, 195. Trump's hoax on the 195th day of the year. And then RFK Jr. gets Secret Service right after. And again, Donald Trump under the 13 stripes on the 13th of July, 13 weeks from the anniversary of the Secret Service being established the day Lincoln was shot, April 14th, 1865. I mean, all this stuff is a joke. RFK's wife just died 68 days before the Pope's birthday. Trump's golf course hoax on the 68 date numerology, 68 days before the JFK assassination anniversary. Donald John Trump, 68, the year of the first major gun control legislation. Donald Trump, who said, let's take the guns first and ask questions later. And he's the hope for the conservatives, the career Democrat, along with J.D. Vance, who's been a Democrat his whole life until recently. Oh, boy.